Hi, this is Pastor Laura, and we're getting ready for a story time. And this day we're going to include some poetry reading. So let's get to it. We're using poetry by Judith Viorst this day. Let me show you the cover. Here it is, If I Were in Charge of the World and Other Worries. Poems for Children and Their Parents by Judith Viorst and illustrated by Lynne Cherry. I had to tilt to the side and look there. This book is an old book. I bought it for myself years ago because many of the poems were good starting places for teaching and for me to think. So, the artwork is very sparse in this book. So again, this might be one of those days when you want to prepare to listen as much as you look. So coloring, Play-Doh, Legos, building blocks as you listen to these poems. So here we go. The first poem does have artwork, and I'm going to slowly give you a look at this. And it is the poem she named the book after, If I Were in Charge of the World. If I were in charge of the world. If I were in charge of the world, I'd cancel oatmeal, Monday mornings, allergy shots, and also Sarah Steinberg. If I were in charge of the world, there'd be brighter nightlights, healthier hamsters, and basketball baskets 48 inches lower. If I were in charge of the world, you wouldn't have lonely, you wouldn't have clean, you wouldn't have bedtimes, or don't punch your sister. You wouldn't even have sisters. If I were in charge of the world, a chocolate sundae with whipped cream and nuts would be a vegetable, and all 007 movies would be G. Told you this was an old book. And a person who sometimes forgot to brush and sometimes forgot to flush would still be allowed to be in charge of the world. The next poem has no illustration, so you can make an illustration for yourself. And it is called 15, maybe 16 Things to Worry About. Well, my pants could fall down when I dive off the diving board. My nose could maybe keep growing and never quit. Miss Brearley could ask me to spell words like stomach and special. S-T-U-M-I-C-K and S-P-E-S-H-U-L. I could play tag all day and always be it. Jay Spivak, who's 14 feet tall, could want to fight me. And my mom and my dad, like Ted's, could want a divorce. And Miss Brearley could ask me a question about Afghanistan. Who's Afghanistan? Somebody maybe could make me ride a horse. My mother could maybe decide that I needed more liver, and my dad could decide that I needed less TV. Miss Brearley could say that I have to write script and stop printing. Chris could decide to stop being friends with me. The world could maybe come to an end on next Tuesday. The ceiling could maybe come crashing on my head. I maybe could run out of things for me to worry about. And then I'd have to do my homework instead. All right, this next one's called Some Things Don't Make Any Sense at All. Here we go. My mom says I'm her sugar plum. My mom says I'm her lamb. My mom says I'm completely perfect, just the way I am. My mom says I'm a super special, wonderful, terrific little guy. My mom just had another baby. Why? The next one is called Harvey, and I have used Harvey before to talk about the wonder of an accepting friend who gives unconditional love. So here's Harvey. Again, no pictures. So Harvey doesn't laugh about how I stay short while everybody grows. Harvey remembers I like jelly beans, except black. Harvey lends me shirts I don't have to give back. I'm scared of ghosts, and only Harvey knows. Harvey thinks I will when I say someday I will marry Margie Rose. Harvey shares his lemonade, sip for sip. He whispers zip when I forgot to zip. He swears I don't have funny-looking toes. Harvey calls me up when I'm in bed with a sore throat and runny nose. Harvey says I'm nice, but not too nice. And if there is a train to paradise, I won't get on it unless Harvey goes. So, what a great friend. This next poem has a very long title, but the poem is very short. So listen carefully. Thoughts on getting out of a nice warm bed in an ice-cold house to go to the bathroom at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's the title. Here's the poem. Maybe life was better when I used to be a wetter. There you go. All right, here's the next one. It's called Learning. I'm learning to say thank you, and I'm learning to say please, and I'm learning to use Kleenex, not my sweater, when I sneeze. And I'm learning not to dribble, and I'm learning not to slurp. And I'm learning, though it sometimes really hurts me, not to burp. And I'm learning to chew softer when I eat corn on the cob. And I'm learning that it's much, much easier to be a slob. So there's learning. This next poem is called Talking, and I always enjoyed it. I'm a talker, and others that I know are talkers, and I'll just leave it right there. But we'll go ahead and read the poem. They tell me that I talk too much. I'm trying not to talk too much, but oh, it's hard to take time out when there's so much to talk about. How long it took to pull my tooth. How hard it is to tell the truth. Why steel is not as nice as trees. Why Brian has such scabby knees. 12 sights I saw in Williamsburg, the definition of an erg. Why roller skates are not my style. 6 reasons goldfish never smile. How come I'd rather freeze than roast, and 10 things that I love the most. The mustache on my father's face, fires in the fireplace, any book by Judy Blume, never cleaning up my room, every single Valentine sent to me by Chris Ramine. Drummers in a marching band, ferry rides, the Redskins, poems, and talking. Some of these things they mention in these poems show the age of the book. So there at home, you'll need to explain some of those references. Who Judy Blume is, but she's lasted a while. In one of the last poems, you need to explain why kids would watch too much TV and not play too many video games. So, all right, end of that one. All right, this next one's called Apology. It's hard to say I'm sorry, although I'm feeling sorry. The S always sticks in my throat, and I made a big mistake. It would produce a bellyache. That might last till I was old enough to vote. Please forgive me sounds real good, and I'd say it if I could. But between the forgive and the please, I would have to go to bed with a pounding in my head and a very shaky feeling in my knees. I was wrong, seems oh so right, but it gives me such a fright that my was always turns into ain't. So I hope you'll take this rhyme as my way of saying I'm really sorry. Now excuse me while I faint. Now this next poem is about refusing, and it's good to have. There are times when we do need to say no as kids. If someone is hurting, or someone is causing us to feel uncomfortable, or we need to just protect ourselves. And sometimes we have to stand up even to bullies and say no. There are other times when we're settling into no, where maybe we need to stop and think about what people who care for us might be asking us to do. So this one's called No. No, I refuse to. No, I don't choose to. No, I most certainly don't. You've made a mistake if you thought you could make me. No, 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 I won't. No, you could beat me. No, you could eat me up from my head to my toes, and inside your belly, loudly and yelly, I'd keep saying no's. No, you could sock me, feed me some broccoli, tickle me till I turn blue, but in between giggles and sniggles and wriggles, I'd say no to you. No, you could tease me, pretty, pretty please me, cry till your eyes washed away. You could beg till you're old, and I'd look at you cold, and oh, is what I'd say. No, you could shove me. No, you could love me, with kisses all squishy and wet. You could scratch me with claws, but I'd say no, because I forget. So, fun little poem about saying no. Here's one called Thank You Note. And kudos to all those moms and dads who encourage kids to write their thank you notes for gifts. But here's a note. Thank you note is the name. I wanted small pierced earrings, gold, and you gave me slippers, gray. My mother said that she would scold unless I wrote to say how much I liked them. Not much. And here's our last one for today. I hope I haven't gotten these out of order, because I might say last one and then edit another one in. So it's called Mother Doesn't Want a Dog. Nowadays, mothers are really good about saying yes to dogs. Dogs are just rising in their wonderfulness. But this is Mother Doesn't Want a Dog. Mother doesn't want a dog. Mother says they smell and never sit when you say sit, or even when you yell. And when you come home late at night and there is ice and snow, you have to go back out because the dumb dog has to go. Mother doesn't want a dog. Mother says they shed, and always let the strangers in and bark at friends instead, and do disgraceful things on rugs, and track mud on the floor, and flop upon your bed at night and snore their doggy snore. Mother doesn't want a dog. She's making a mistake, because more than a dog, I think, she will not want this snake. And that's where we're ending for today. So, hope you enjoyed those poems. And we'll get back to a Bible story this Thursday when we have another story together. So, bye for now.